Hello, everyone. Yeah, just wanted to give a bit of a life update, as it were, my on my present whereabouts and what I'm doing with stuff. First of all, congratulations to the Unmute Free-to-Play movement for apparently having succeeded in their goal, at least somewhat, because certain free-to-play accounts now can be unmuted and can absolutely talk in chat, in voice chat, text chat, and regular voice commands, which is pretty incredible, especially considering that a lot of people didn't think Valve would do anything about it, much like the bot crisis, and yet when the fixed TF2 thing happened, they actually did. It took some tries, but it actually did. It actually did work. I was the guy who actually mailed the letter to Valve physically, so I'm glad to have had a hand in that process as much as anybody else, and I'm glad that I was able to help. You know, there's really I kind of just said the same thing twice, but that's really all that can be said about that. I'm just happy that it worked. You know, I'm happy that people, at least hopefully right now or in the near future, when if Valve fixes whatever bugs are occurring, simply I hope that people can actually play the game without needing to pay for it now. You know, in other things, I wanted to talk a bit more about the videos I'm making. I've been putting a bit more effort into my second channel because it's a place where I can upload my somewhat unfiltered thoughts about things and not have the algorithm inherently punish me for it. Because the weird thing about YouTube, right, is that if you don't stick to the niche, like the exact niche that it thinks you're a part of, it normally just punishes you. And I don't want that sort of punishment. I want a channel where I don't need to think about it, because I'm trying to build this channel up as something much more like serious, or that it takes itself more seriously. And so the second channel in this regard is going to be something for like just the place where I can make videos and responses to people's stupidity, really. A place where I can really posit my criticisms appropriately and not in a sanitized way. So, for example, I've been recently getting absolutely hammered on there about a YouTuber that I was positing a great deal of criticism towards in regards to map design. There were these two YouTubers that wanted to redesign 2 Fort for themselves because they believed it was just too bad of a map, you know? And I believe that they don't have any evidence for what they say, but more importantly, I believe that this sets a bad precedent for expectations in regards to the game and how people are to treat, you know, the base game. There's this idea that a lot of TF2's design or functionality is merely outdated, and the opposite is what I find to be true through all the research and just general logic. You know, that's what I tend to find to be most true, is that actually the TF2's never been less antiquated in this time, but a lot of people don't seem to agree, and it doesn't help that TF2's community, as it were, is horribly tribal. Really, it's not a welcoming place in the slightest, and everyone will latch on to whatever talking points their favorite YouTuber has because it's their favorite YouTuber. And, you know, who am I to posit such criticisms, you know what I mean? So the second channel is a place where I want to work on that kind of thing a lot more, in a way that won't impact the main channel as directly algorithmically. Of course, people will find me and get upset at me, like, you know, for my main stuff too, because it's like, oh, this is that guy. But I'm somewhat confident that it'll go well. I mean, I already had 2 people join my Discord server from that video, and they spoke rather positively about it. So who knows? I guess it's a good thing that I'm doing what I'm doing. I just want to make videos that are very consistent in their logic and actually focus on some level of genuine truth rather than, how do I put this? Rather than catering to the skill issues of the modern day gamer and coddling them into believing that their skill issues are actually the game's fault. Which sounds pretty vague, but the majority of situations you wind up in, especially in circle jerk discussions on YouTube. For example, one of the biggest fallacies that I find in discussions about this game from all the tribes, that a lot of tribes actually seem to believe in, is that, you know, you wind up in situations in regards to class balance or something that the player simply can't do anything about. And they use that term, the player, as if it means something for the game. It would make sense if we were talking about a game that, you know, only had one player, but like everyone had the access to the same loadouts. But that's just not the case, because TF2 has 9 classes, and they all have their unique loadouts and their unique abilities. And so it just winds up being a rather dishonest conversation, because what you get are people who don't actually believe that the game is playable in a lot of situations, when it very much is. It just depends on who you are and what you're doing, and whether or not you're actually playing to the design of the game. And it's frustrating, really, because a lot of people, especially on YouTube, tend to convince others that, how do I put this? A lot of people get pretty cranky when you contest their views and say that you're just wrong, but at the same time, they like to posit things as just their opinions. So, you know, that's a very, like, classic example of YouTuber stupidity, but I guess that's just how it goes. But the other thing about that 2-fort map thing is that it sets a horrible precedent in regards to what people come to expect about the game's legacy, as it were. Like, I remember when I started playing this game was pretty much exclusively because of YouTube. It was memes, and then it was a frag movie, and then it was a couple El Maxo videos and a couple Uncle Dane videos, right? And I joined the game because I wanted to play the game that these guys played, because their videos were really entertaining. And I wound up subscribing to a lot of different belief systems simply because they were YouTubers, and I assumed that because they had the clout, they understood what they were talking about. And after years of being in this, and after years of really studying what exactly makes good arguments for something and what doesn't, it's very obvious that most YouTubers have no idea what they're talking about at all. And they never really will, because they're so stuck in their own, for lack of a better term, mid-witted approach to the game. They don't seem to be capable of comprehending 2 sets of rules at the same time, or how shall I put this? They don't believe in a philosophy of range of acceptable outcomes, where a lot of things are acceptable at the same time by virtue of there at least being some way of dealing with it. And I think a lot of it comes from how people expect the game to treat them well. Like, a lot of criticisms that the popular folk have in regards to TF2 winds up boiling down to a situation where they think the game should cater to them instead of them actually getting good at the game that they pretend to love. Like, genuinely, that's a thing. And I've been learning more and more just how many people actually think that, and how that affects their logic in the long term. Like, literally, you'd be surprised how many people really do think like this. It's kind of disturbing, because a lot of other games aren't riddled with so much dishonesty from the people that play it, you know. But this game is just chock full of people like this. And maybe it's because of the age, maybe it's because casual matchmaking actually does promote environments like this, and maybe this is just the result of a game that was mishandled so poorly that people still haven't quite recovered from it in a logical sense. But in any case, the second channel is going to be used to more directly refute those particular kinds of people and to really have firm discussions in a matter of truth, because that's the kind of environment I want to promote. I want to promote an environment of logic and reasoning, and I don't want people to be afraid to say something because it doesn't align with the status quo, because the only reason I've ever kept quiet about things is because it does not align with the status quo. I don't think people should be behaving like that, and I don't think that people should feel the need to behave like that. I think people should just be okay with actually speaking their minds, and at least trying to rationalize what they're talking about. I don't want people to engage in discussion with this idea that they're going to get lambasted because they're not the popular opinion. I think this Dust Bowl game is actually a pretty good example of what I was talking about. There's a lot of players that are kind of complaining right now, and, like, I know I'm kind of harping on a bit about this, but there used to be a time when people would get out there complaining, as it were, and because YouTube didn't cater to it as much, or because YouTube had a higher standard of quality, or people understood what quality actually was and they knew not to listen to certain people just logically or intuitively, people like that never actually got a platform, and people like that never actually got the ability to speak their minds, right? Because they were forced to face their own skill issues and grow and learn from their mistakes and actually play the game and really, really get good at it. And nowadays, you find a lot of people who feel like the game should cater to them and who should, under every circumstance possible, just fit their personal bill, you know? It's like what I want the game to be rather than what the game simply is, and how I can get better at it, you know. And I'm sick and tired of people who play like that, and I want people to be able to talk, and I want to promote a much better environment for people. So that's what the second channel will be devoted to. This channel will be devoted to more, I guess, typical TF2 YouTuber content. I'm still working on the 100 Days of Medic, and I'm doing my best to keep up with it. But it's very strange, really, doing something like that, because it winds up taking up a lot of time, and I'm just wondering how in the world I'm going to edit it all. I'm really starting to see just how difficult it is in concept. But it's a lot of interesting things to learn about the game through the lens of medic, because you play as a medic and you're suddenly not designed to kill anymore, and you realize just how different things are, and it's quite magical, really. Kind of opens your eyes to all these different possibilities and like just what the actual design of the game was about, you know? Oh, what else? In other news, the new Doom game released, and I'm actually not able to play it because my computer is too old. I am finally too old for modern day gaming. I need a computer that can do ray tracing, and I can't do that, and I need a CPU that's like 2 generations newer, and I don't have that, and I don't think I'll ever have that, or at least for quite some time, because I am broke. That is to say, I don't have the money to spend on a new computer or building a new computer, and I probably won't for quite some time. So if you want to help me get there, please subscribe and look at my Patreon that I haven't posted on because nobody's actually on it. And that's all good. I don't actually, it's fine. I'm not eager for people necessarily to be on there. It'd be nice to play Doom the Dark Ages at some point, because I probably won't be able to for a long time. So I'll just watch other people's playthroughs and have to study the game without actually playing it, which is going to be pretty difficult. What I can say right now, though, is that it is unreasonably gray. The game, for whatever reason, just very much likes being gray. In general life news, I'm actually quite pleased to say that I'm actually starting marriage prep. Because I'm a member of the Catholic Church. They have us go through this process to actually get married, and just make absolutely sure that everything will go well and that we'll love each other and all that. And it's quite interesting. And I've been going through that recently, and we're looking to get married hopefully by like year's end, at the very latest, which is gonna be pretty cool. I think I'm very much looking forward to the process of it all. But that does take up a great deal of time, so you'll forgive me if I'm not really uploading as much, or if I'm working on videos less and stuff, because getting married takes priority. I'm sure most of you understand. See, this is exactly what I mean. Like, these guys are complaining that we won the previous Dust Bowl round because a spy backcapped. And it's like, is that not part of the spy's duties? And I see, look, that guy, Dragon Pangolin. He says it best. I mean, just defend better. Skill issue y'all never checked. Skill issue, truly. Just get better. Just need to get the game over with that quickly. No, that's not what it is. A backcap is a skill issue. Yeah. See, and this is the kind of complaining. There was a lapse in defense. It happens. See, even guys on the red team get it. It's like, sometimes you just mess up, Not every game's going to go your way. It's difficult. So, just learn from it and get better. It's not, like, communicate with your team more. The game is designed to be easier to play as a team unit rather than just by yourself where you happen to be on a team. Which is how a lot of people play, because that's how they see YouTubers play. Because a lot of YouTubers get pretty popular with their frag movies, and they seem like they're doing so well all by themselves. And like, I'm not knocking frag movies. I like frag movies as much as the next guy, but frag movies are not the game. That's not reality. Reality is that the game is designed to like play as a team, and a lot of people just don't, because they don't see it as worth their time. And that's deeply disappointing, because that's not how the game's meant to be played. I think it comes from this weird obsession where people like just prioritize fun over everything else, as if that actually means something. It kind of develops this gaming hedonism type of philosophy where everything should just cater to your personal view of what is fun, rather than you choosing to actually enjoy the valuable gaming decisions that you can make and to actually value the experience you're having. It's very disappointing to see people just think that they can do whatever they want and that the game is somehow entitled to treat them fairly, or that they convince themselves that they're not being treated fairly because the exact experience that they want just isn't happening. So they try to mod the game or in their own servers, to do whatever it is that they want out of it, which is the problem that I have with YouTubers redesigning old school maps like 2 Fort under the guise of 2 Fort being broken or having been flawed since its inception. It's like, no. The reality is that 2 Fort was not designed with the foresight of the amount of things in the game. I really think that like half the weapons at least just shouldn't be in the game on the principle that they don't fit and that they are needless clutter. They don't help the health of the game. They're just there to make money off of and to produce something for the economy more than anything else, and to just, content go burr, when it's actually the functionality and overall cohesion of the game that matters more than the amount of stuff in it, just by virtue of it being more stuff. It's ridiculous to assert that the game would somehow be better if we just had more weapons or more stuff, if we balanced the weapons we already had differently. Actually, the vast majority of the weapons are just fine, and there's not a single one that's like overpowered in a sense. There's just a few that are very stupid in design and just should not be in the game. And the funny thing too is that for all these things I say, I still wind up inevitably choosing to partake in this community, as it were, because I find the discussions that much worth having, which is pretty odd. I guess that's one more detail that I could reveal about my plans for, nice, logical videos, as it were. People don't play responsibly in the sense that they don't play to win. They don't make the game worth their time by putting in the effort required to actually see the game through. And that mostly stems from a thought of, like, it's just a game. It's a lot of this peer pressure that you would receive, right, as a kid or something, where people are all like, why are you trying so hard? Like, in a fit of rage at not being good enough at the game, they think that you're trying so hard and stuff. And it's like, it's not that you're trying to be like the most competitively viable player in the world. You're just giving the game its fair shake. That's not a bad thing. People vilify it as it is, but it's not. And that's something that I really want to debunk, I suppose, in great detail, if possible. I think that's as much as I can really say at the moment as to what I'm doing in TF2 world. I don't know if I'm going to be partaking in the movement to bring back Quickplay now that the free-to-play thing has been somewhat resolved, but Quickplay was objectively the better system for all the functionality purposes that people have outlined in the past. Perhaps nowadays it could have a new coat of paint in as far as aesthetics, just to stop people from whining, but I don't think that the system should be drastically changed in any ways. I think that if anything, this system needs to go. It has never served its purpose, just from a factual standpoint. And I don't want to play a game with a not functioning system, but I have been for years, so who knows, maybe I'll just wind up stuck like this forever. I'm not sure what else there is to talk about, really, other than that. I just wanted to give this update as to life. I think the next video I'll be making Oh, I know, there's one more thing I wanted to say. I've been working on this new series of videos, I suppose, in the spirit of what I've been kind of describing about stupid people saying stupid things, which is this objective assessment series, as it were. I like talking about the objective merit of things, and I'm very good at talking about video games, so I wanted to talk about video games. And I find that nobody really has series describing, or maybe I just haven't found them, but nobody really has series describing the objective quality of a game and how best to enjoy it, And I'm starting that series, as it were, with a game series that I've grown up with and that I really do believe is an excellent game that everyone should play. And I won't exactly say what it is yet, but it is pretty good, and I am very excited to actually make it because I'm in the process of actually getting all the footage for it, playing all the games and stuff. And I really want to make, the Valve games, the objective assessment of Valve games, because what I want to do is cover games per franchise and then per brand as a result, and put all the per franchise stuff in a big video of that particular brand and be like, yeah, this is the objective assessment of the games made by so and so company. You know what I mean? And I really am excited to do that because it's something that I really enjoy doing. The difficult part is figuring out whether or not to actually post such videos on this Military Snake channel or on a different channel, because again, YouTube very much punishes things that don't fit into its exact niche. So I could probably post it here first, see how it goes, and then if it doesn't perform well, I could post it on another channel and start a new channel in that way. But I'd like to start a new channel if I had objective assessments of, I don't know, 5 games, or game franchises already completed. For example, one of the franchises I'm doing or planning to do, because it's simple and easier to do, is Portal, because there's only 2 mainline games and a couple spin-offs, and it'd be a lot easier for me to really get the full scope of everything in that way. So I'm pretty sure that's everything I had to say. You'll hear a lot more from me on my second channel, because that's a place where I can make, you know, semi-unscripted stuff more frequently, but also where I can just actually speak my mind about present issues without the channel suffering, because apparently I develop the most notoriety when I have a ton of comments, even if the video is horribly performing in terms of like and dislikes. So yeah, in the meantime, I think improving on TF2 is also my primary goal, because I haven't really let myself calm down as much ever since my car accident. It really threw my aim and pretty much all my game sense out the window, because I couldn't focus and I couldn't think about what I was doing, and that really has hurt me, especially as a sniper who used to get kicked so much from servers for actually being good at the game. I am no longer capable of doing that, and I have struggled for a long time now to get better at it, and I think I really need to take more time to improve where I can. But at the same time, of course, my life is a bit busy, a bit too busy for video games at this point. But I'm hanging in there, and I'm doing my best. It's not easy, but I'm doing my best. I think the most difficult part of my entire, like, quote-unquote job is that it's very difficult to get people to game responsibly, as it were. It's very difficult to get people to really care about what you're talking about when they themselves believe that they have no incentive to care. The idea that they don't owe the game an experience it deserves for the sake of the art form is pretty aggravating, and that's something that I want to do my best to rectify, but most people will probably see me as some, like, I don't know, compy sympathizer, which is probably like some type of slur in this game. I really couldn't tell you. I just know that people don't treat this game like the art form it really is and what it deserves to be treated as. So I want to fix that. I want to represent logic, better logic than the type of stuff people pull nowadays. Because some people are very logical about some things they say, but then other things they still submit to completely ridiculous notions that have no bearing or basis on logic or truth at all. And that's pretty frustrating from the standpoint of it just being dishonest. And dishonesty isn't what should be promoted in a culture like this, but alas, it very much is. So anyways, that's pretty much what I'm up to. I will probably talk more on the second channel, and I will see you guys for the next video, which is probably going to be 100 Days of Medic, which is still in the works very much and still very much going to take a long time to actually make. So please bear with me on that. Life has been quite the adventure recently, and I'm sort of struggling to catch my breath every day. So, such is life. I will see you guys later, and I hope you enjoyed this little update that I've given you. Farewell.